Those are my shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. That's right. It's great to be alive. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh, is the show starting? Oh, it must be. We heard our introduction. Oh, come on, girl, giddy up. Oh, spotlight's on us. Everybody loves us. Oh, girl. Whoa. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Oh, thank you. Get out of here. And the horse. You wrote in on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, nuns and all. That's right, priests, preachers, cardinals, rabbis, weirdos with beardos, alcoholics, anonymous, anyone who accidentally clicked on this because their algorithm is beyond a metric of mess. Why is this on my feed? Oh, you know. You tricked me into subscribing? Maybe not. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, nuns and all. We've got a fantastic show for you today. Yes, of course. By fantastic, we of course mean free. Yes. Get the giggles out. Now, when it comes down to it, we think to ourselves, what is the most powerful metric, all right, with which one can elicit a foundational milking of an entire show? Okay? Obviously, the power lies in merely showcasing that of philosophy. Yeah, that's right. And believe you me, since we're philosophers, maybe not good ones, subjective, we figured the power therein lies in a quick pickup game of philosophy, as is tradition. So, without further ado, okay, we don't want to release too much power right away in the beginning of the show. Believe you me, you'll be disappointed for the entire rest of it. When you call Daryl Dixon dibs on being the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, of course, that affords you the opportunity to now be the best of the worst. Means the show sucks. So, apologies in advance. It doesn't really get better. Now, that's right. Boo as you will. But our guarantee to you, okay, having claimed Walking Dead's Daryl of the Dixon dibs on being best of the worst, okay, having claimed that, our promise to you is that everything that you like and or love more than us, unlikely but maybe, okay, is going to be even better, okay? All right? That's because we afford you the opportunity to walk all over us, okay? That's right. We're that crappy internet celebrity that, is kind of the ground floor level of crap. It's like none of the good streamers are on, so, it'll do. But it sucks, okay? All right, fine. We understand. Okay. But if we were to highlight or showcase one component or aspect, it's free, okay? That's right. You get what you pay for. Excellent. So since we figured we're going to do a pickup game of philosophy, let's put on our thinking hats. We don't want to look ridiculous on live stream, okay? You won't catch good old Shyzabox not ready with his thinking hat. No way. Thank you, sir and or ma'am and or sir and or ma'am. So, obviously, we need our thinking hat on, right? We can't just be ridiculous. Obviously, we could make a mistake. Speaking of which, hold on. Management's calling. They think they know how to run the place. Keep it down. What do you want? We're on time. We're doing the show. We started at like 8 a.m. Yeah, no, you're going to have to clock us in. We accidentally forgot. Hey, keep it down. It's our boss. Nah, of course, yeah, we did that earlier at like 8:30, right after we clocked in. That you got to adjust our clock that we didn't clock in. All right, fix that shit. Excellent. Management, they think they know how to run the place. Believe you me, if they ask, pertaining to our last stream, sorry about that. Hey, excellent. Forgive and forget, right? They don't have to know anything that we may or may not have said, right? That's right. Nothing like a good old secret amongst a few internet friends. That never blows up in anyone's face. That's, rather, if we do say, powerful, modern, philosophical takes, right? You have a powerful metric, a powerful means, okay, within which people harbor these conversations, these things at will, these metrics of, you know, disseminating information back and forth, whether it's of understanding or not, okay? A lot of people, they think they're telling jokes and they aren't, ourselves included, okay? As we're reminded on a daily basis at the breakfast table, when we wake up at the crack of 11 o'clock, and our mom's like, when are you going to give it up? You're a failure, honey. And we say, damn it, Mom. You can't kick us out of your basement yet, because the stairs are hard for you to navigate. We can stay down here all winter long, Ma. Believe you me, you canned a lot of goods. We never have to leave the basement. You have to take out the trash. Or I'll turn off the Wi-Fi. Okay, fine, Mom. You win this round. That is a powerful, powerful metric with which we cannot compete. And if we do, we usually fail. But as we think to ourselves, we forgot to check on one thing before the show started. Sorry about that. So obviously, as you know, we as philosophers, and of course, everyone is a philosopher. Everyone understands that of their own being, whether they claim to be a philosopher or not, okay? It's not a tried and true practice as was back in the day, all right? You know, ancient Greece and Athens and Rome and, you know, even Eastern philosophy and things of that nature are not what they were in times past, okay? So you have all of these metrics of what philosophy was, what philosophers were and entail. And in essence, nowadays, anyone who's a philosopher per se teaches at a university. Okay? Now, good old Shyzabox, this don't look like a university except the University of Life, right? That's right. Or the university of with what the internet affords and or offers. A bunch of crap? What? Keep those comments to yourself, Mom. Everything's fine. Oh, what was that? So yeah, most modern philosophers, they teach at, you know, that of universities, things of that nature, okay? Even those that, you know, embark on writing that of books and endeavors. Now, not as a whole, not in the entirety, obviously. There's going to be the variables and the, you know, metrics that, you know, contradict that of our statements there, obviously. Okay? We do not speak on the whole or behest or behalf of that of philosophy because you cannot speak for that as a whole or on the, you know, behest or behalf unless you have your own closed Gadelian loop system, right? We can speak on Shyzalosophy, okay? That's a metric branch of philosophy with which that we ascribe to, okay? It's a living philosophical practice that merely seeks truth, okay? It admits it can be wrong. It admits that we can be wrong, all right? You need to have a foundational understanding and baseline for any kind of metric to build upon, right? If you go to construct your house, you're going to lay a foundation. What? Hey, Ziffer, what's up? What do you mean, what? What? When did you come in? You probably missed our light show when we were showing how cool, powerful metrics of understanding can be when people utilize them and things of that nature, okay? Now, maybe not. We don't know when you came in. Okay? But, you know, everything aside, we don't need to be all powerful all the time, right? You know? Or never powerful none of the time. Depend on when you came in, Zephyr. We can call you Zephyr, right? Nah, of course we can. Z-Money. Depend on when you came in. You know, you probably got here on accident. We hadn't even busted out our hardcore marketing yet. We have meetings about this stuff at this channel here, believe you me. Our marketing budget is what you would say sucks, okay? Well, that's because, you know, don't tell them, but the channel sucks. We should have never signed that contract that put our show on it, okay? That's our bad. We didn't know that we were making such a devastating mistake, but indentured servitude rears its head yet again. You can't joke like that. Oh, you can't? Sorry about that. Apology accepted on behalf of you. Excellent. Did this elicit ones of subscribifications? Most likely. Get this shit off our desk. Wacky, waving, inflatable, flailing arm guys are a metric of, you know, marketing that pretty much one cannot just account for on its own, okay? Whenever we're driving down the road and we see one of those at any business, mattress store, eye doctor, mattress store, a tire store, auto store, and all those mattress stores in between, okay? We cannot help but stop and take a picture with one of those things, okay? Because every single one is unique. All on their own accord. Most of them are dirty. What? They are not dirty. They are powerful as a metric to bring that of that company's philosophy front and center to whoever pulls off the road to take a selfie with it. I don't know. Maybe that's just our thing. By our thing, we mean your thing, because that's probably you that does it and not us, right? We can sit here all day and talk about how it's probably you that takes all those selfies with those, and it's not us, and we could go through our phone, sure, and find a bunch, but you probably are the one who takes them of yourself and your own. So that doesn't matter. But as we sit back and thought to ourselves, what is a good way to milk an entire show, okay? We're like, let's talk about philosophy. Easy enough. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So as a philosopher, arguably, maybe not a good one, with our understanding that every philosopher, whether they're good or not, okay, to even be considered good, and we're not saying we are good, but even being considered good necessitates and has a need for said philosopher or claimed philosopher to have their own poetry book. Okay, now, that's why, for our name to even be in the conversation, like, who's a good philosopher, right? Okay, all right, it doesn't have to be Shyzabox, but because we have a poetry book, our name's in the hat for the conversation. Okay, now, we don't have to be the answer to the test, okay, but we get to be on it, okay? Yes, delayed laughter. It took you a while to process that. You probably were reading all the answers, and Shyzabox is D. D equals diploma. That's old. Where old? I mean, doesn't matter. Or does it? Does it not? Anyhow, we were thinking to ourselves, good way to milk an entire show is just, you know, kind of talking about philosophy in general, unless anyone else wants to hijack it with that of their own thoughts, desires, wishes, or whims. Believe you me, we don't work for a giant company at the present. We are not under an NDA, so you got Shyzabox at his good old-fashioned, what do you want us to do? Believe you me, the sky is the limit. We operate on a philosophical threshold and practice, that of which is probably misunderstood, not understood, and or completely overlooked by that of anyone with whom wishes to partake in that of the metaphysical possibilities of what is and or what can be. Bold claim, Cotton. You got the crazy dude right now, not under an NDA, not beholden to an HR, not working for a big company, that claimed he decoded the Voynich manuscript, okay? Now, that's a bold claim on the internet. You have our ear. What, there's 4 people in here? Well, 7 people in here. It doesn't matter how many people are in here. You have our ear. Shyzabox might be crazy, but the thing about Shyzabox is we don't hide behind our math or science. Okay? Go to the scriptification, audit the hell out of it. We welcome you too. Okay? Shyzabox is crazy on the internet. You can't go around saying you theoretically decoded Voynich manuscript and expect no kickback. You can't claim that you have that of a closed Gödelian loop system working in a entire computational representation thereof. That's just crazy. Well, believe you me, it's crazy if you can't back it up, because that's how you get shut down pretty fast. Ironically, on the other end, we have been telling people all of this stuff. We have had entire shows showcasing the metrics of the Voynich manuscript being magically solved by good old Shyzabox, okay? Theoretically, of course. Please check behind us and audit that of our math, okay? We don't hide behind our math. We don't hide behind our science. That of modern philosophers, that of modern philosophy, okay? Genuinely, for the most part, we do not see that of authentic works and or representations thereof a means to extrapolate a new component to that of society, okay? Like we said, most of them may very well be practiced and be very well taught and learned and contribute that of very, very foundationally to that of another's understanding or knowledge, okay? We do not debate that of their metric and or means or viability in society or the role they fill or, take on. However, that is a gate-kept knowledge, okay? The difference between a cosmological philosopher that probably obtained their degree at the one school last we looked at had it way out in California that offered a doctorate in cosmological philosophy, all right? The practitioners thereof are gate-kept, all right? You're not going to go and get lectures from them on the free, okay? Now, no one's saying they want a good old lecture from Shyzabox, right? Of course not. It would probably suck, okay? That's fine. The power lies in the ability to disseminate informations thereof, all right? It doesn't have to be a complete foundational understanding, but providing at least a foundation of knowledge therewith, we seem to really see in all of our interactions, all of our encounters, even the metrics with which we were beholding to that of our studies when we got our minor in philosophy back in college. Majored in history, minored in philosophy. Oh, you got crappy degrees. What? No, we don't. We got awesome degrees. Psh. Quit saying that, Mom. It hurts our feelings. I can't believe I paid for that. What? You came to the graduation, Mom. Huh? Everything's fine. Oh, what was that? So anyhow, as we said, most modern philosophers, they seem to tend to not really contribute additional foundational structures, all right? They maintain that of structure that has been in place, okay, that of thought and metrics of all the ones that you always study and hear about. Plato, Aristotle, Socrates of the T's, and, of course, Nietzsche. Everyone always has to talk about Nietzsche. Blah, blah, blah. Nietzsche this, Nietzsche that, Nietzsche, wiffle ball bat. Okay? I swear, even people who don't claim to be philosophers, which everyone is their own philosopher, everyone is their own historian, okay? You understand your own self to be that of the self you are. Now, keep in mind, this show and everything here is for philosophical entertainment, and any understandings are subjective to that of your interpretations thereof. Okay? Excellent. Sounded like a very good disclaimer to me. Let's continue with the show. Most practitioners of philosophy always tend to lean right into all of those very, very prominent ones that are very, very prominent, okay? There's no getting around when you look into philosophy or the studies thereof. Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, and inevitably Nietzsche. Okay? He's the only one people remember. They all have valid points. They all have valid metrics, okay? Well, Shyzabox, we were historian before we were a philosopher, okay? In that of our understanding. So when we look at philosophy, we see, yes, the ones you cannot avoid, your Aristotle, your Plato, your Socrates, your Nietzsche-weechie, okay? We know he's your favorite. No, he's not. Stop saying that. That dude got picked on in school. For probably a reason. What? You can't bully people nowadays? Oh, sorry about that. Apologies. Nietzsche didn't have it coming for whatever he was doing at the time. Point is that we, as historians first, look a little past that, all right? So what we did is started looking further and further into other philosophical practices, techniques, endeavors that were, around in that of the old times, that of ancient times, that of medieval times, that of archaic times, okay? You have practitioners of philosophy that have abounded through one of our most favorite times is when Emperor Nero was in play, okay? That's right. Emperor Nero slaughtered and killed all the philosophers. Well, I don't know why you would laugh at that, internet, but then again, you are a ruthless bunch. Well, you would celebrate that as well. It's all right, we understand. As we are one of you, internet, we understand. Well, Emperor Nero, yeah, he killed off all the philosophers, okay? So you have, in essence, theoretically now, on top of what history naturally provides, which is the omission, the obfuscation, the removal, the erasure, the destruction, the absent-mindedness, all right, of every single component of history, all right, that naturally just break off, okay? If you have an old document and manuscript and it survives 100 years, part of it falls off, another 100 years, another part, another 100 years, another part, okay? When Emperor Nero theoretically killed a bunch of philosophers, not that theoretically killed them, but theoretically thereafter, you have a breakdown in a communication of knowledge, a breakdown in a translation of knowledge, and that's when you start seeing all of these tried and true practiced and measures of hiding information, hiding technologies, hiding understandings, and that of literary works, that of manuscripts, that of palimpsests, that of any component or aspect of one's works of the time, okay? Emperor Nero hunting people down probably made other philosophers think, wow, I don't think he likes some of this information that we're talking about, okay? So, again, keep in mind, this show is for philosophical entertainment, okay? Correlate and subjectively entertain that of the metaphysical with us, with which you subjectively wish to understand or correlate therewith. Oh, Shyzabox, you're good. I'm gonna take off my pants. What? Everything's fine. A little weird, internet, but we know you are. You would celebrate that. Please keep your pants on. The show isn't over yet. Whatever, it's hot. Did you see the weather report? Global warming. What? We aren't talking of global warming. Wait, what? Who's that? John? Hey, John, what do you mean what? Did you just come in and say what? You missed like 20 minutes of the show. Let's be honest, 4 minutes was filler dead space completely, okay? We can call you John, right? All right, J-Money. You missed like 20 minutes of the show because, yeah, let's be honest, 4 minutes was dead space. You know, it's been, what, like 24 minutes? So, of that 20 minutes of the show that you missed, probably 30 seconds was relevant conversation. You really didn't miss anything. So when you say what, really, in essence, John, we can call you John, right? Now, of course we can. J-Money. There is no need to rewind. This show sucks, and you made it better. Thank you for participating. All right, no, we'll start over for you, John, because why not? It'll pad this show out and make it all the better. Okay, we can call you John, right? Now, of course we can. J-Money. We're Shyzabox. Good to meet you, okay? That's right, that's right. Now, feel free to touch us through the internet. We are a, maybe not a good one, but an internet celebrity. Go ahead. Okay? All right, that's enough touching, John. J-Money, we don't know where you've been, what shorts you've been watching, and or what practitioners of live streamers you watch. We're guessing probably good ones, okay? Well, J-Money, the difference between good live streamers and us is the good ones have better shows, okay? We know our place, John. We're not going to be able to compete with that. We can call you John, right? Yeah, of course we can, okay? We got it down. J-Money comes down to the point that we can't compete with these guys, okay? Joe of the Rogan, Asman of the Gold, they're the top dogs, okay? We got to be the bottom bitch, okay? You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, sometimes it's a metric of, you know, enjoyment. Everything's fine. Oh, what was that? So, J-Money, we can't compete with the Asman Golds, the Unsleeved Medias, who's not Unsleeved Media anymore. I think he's the Quartering or something like that. You know, the Tim of the Pool, okay? He has a beanie. We got a pickup headband for anyone who wants to play pickleball after the show. You know, we're old, okay? We can only do what we can do. But, in essence, you know, we are that of a philosopher. Arguably, maybe not a good one, okay? But our name gets to at least be in the conversation of being a philosopher, maybe not a good one, because we have a poetry book, okay? That's right. Anyone who wants to be in the conversation of being a good philosopher needs to have a poetry book. Thusly, our name is at least in the hat, okay? 20 years from now, some kid's in, like, you know, high school, and they're like, hey, who's a good modern philosopher, okay? We're not the answer on the test, okay? But, you know, we're one of the answers that's, you know, inherently maybe wrong, right? So, John, that's us. We are that of the philosopher. We are that of the one that goes around claiming that bold stuff like we decoded, theoretically, the Voynich manuscript, okay? That's a bold claim on the internet, especially on a live stream. Oh, no. Someone can audit you. Well, believe you me, John. We can call you John, right? Of course we can. J-Money. We don't hide behind our math. We don't hide behind our science, okay? We know how the internet works, and believe you me, we were once that of a part of it, and I guess technically, we still are a part of it. Only, J-Money, we're starting to occupy a future space of the internet, okay? Shh. Don't tell those big corporate companies. Come closer. Closer? Okay, fuck it. We'll come to you. J-Money. We're playing on IPFS now. We got an entire micro-sovereign blockchain. Our IPFS site is awesome. And or not, okay? Subjective. We have working games. We have working demos. We have working theory. J-Money, we monographed lectin, okay? Lectin is an old, dead philosopher's term. All the practitioners are dead. We monographed it in our book, Delectable. Do you even philosophy, bro? Okay? Alright? It's reverses backwards. You can't read it. Don't worry about it. Magic of the internet. Was your sign right? Stop asking questions, Mom. You're ruining the show. Talking to J-Money. J-Money. Tell her mom to shut the hell up. Okay? She's ruining the show. J-Money, don't be rude to our mother. Don't get on our bad side, J-Money. We'll mispronounce your name. You hear us, John? We're joking. If our mom deserves it, you know, everyone is their own entity. You're responsible for your own actions. What the hell kind of a show is this? What? Everything's fine. Huh? What? We monographed a term lectin in our book Delectable, okay? Now, good old Shyzabox, crazy old philosopher going around theoretically solving Voynich manuscripts, stuff like that, okay? Lectin are a dead-end term, or were a dead-end term on that of Wikipedia, okay? So it perplexed us. We started contemplating, fathoming, and utilizing that of what we actually, ironically, learned to an extent in that of school. All right? With that being the case, all right, where we majored in history, minored in philosophy, things of that nature, okay? Inherently, school did afford us the opportunity to learn how to possess that of power over that of knowledge. Wisdom and or understanding for whatever the better practices of that may be. Okay, like we said, we may not have good wisdom, we may not have great wisdom, we may not have good knowledge, we may not have great knowledge, but good old Shyzabox, in practicing his usages of lectin that he monographed in his book, Delectable, all right, utilizing that of the pre-Stoic philosophical term that was a dead end on that of Wikipedia, all right, irking us to the point where we wrote a little article, okay, for the paragraph's length of what Wikipedia should add to that of their site, and they refused, okay? That's why we wrote Pickled Punk Philosophy, and that's why Inherently Delectable exists. Now, herein where the fun lies, okay? Shyzabox is what you call a practitioner of his own modern philosophy, Shyzalosophy, okay? Anyone can be a practitioner thereof. Anyone can dabble with it, all right? The only thing about it is that in order to be a practitioner of Shyzalosophy, where the hell? In order to be a practitioner of Shyzalosophy, all right, one must be living. That is the only rule, okay? When good old Shyzabox is dead and gone, he cannot be a practitioner of Shyzalosophy, okay? That's how it works, okay? You can't have a bunch of aftermarket, manipulations to that of inherently what is a living structure and system, okay? That's where we differ with Einstein and a little bit of his works as well on the, theoretical side there, all right? Theoretically, Einstein was looking at everything he was doing from a dead system point of view, okay? Shyzabox, practicing his living philosophy, all right, looks at stuff as a biological and or nature-provided lithical understanding. Lithic means rock. All right, to base foundational knowledge on. Okay, so we turn to that which is naturally present, naturally provided, and universally applies a blanketed true to that of the foundation. Okay, now you can interpret that truth in any way, means, or metric that you wish. It is all subjective. Same way that of our name being in the hat for what is a good philosopher necessitates only that of whoever deems us to be such to be the answer on the test and not just one of the answers on the test. Oh, that's some good philosophy, Shyzabox. Well, believe you me. J-Money, if you were around from the beginning of the show, you definitely didn't miss anything when we started from thereafter. When we venture out into the... Wait, the heck? Rewind, 10 seconds left, 5 out. What? No. That's our bad, J-Money. We didn't read all those chats before I think you left or something. But, believe you me, it probably doesn't matter. Point is that when we utilize that of lectin, all right, and we monograph that of which, okay, we began using it to do all sorts of stuff, okay? Now, here's where it gets really, really fun, Internet. Because good old Shyzabox practices a living philosophy, Shyzalosophy, okay, because we monograph lectin, and lectin takes on usages therewith, our philosophy. Delectable, in essence, became what is a living book, a living entity, okay? Now... sounds ridiculous, obviously, dead book, dead tree. This thing, obviously cannot be that of living, okay? Impossible. But, computationally, it resurfaces that in where it prices itself into existence, okay? Literally, this book broke Amazon.com's pricing algorithm, okay? It went and made itself 94% off, okay? Now... obviously, when we start getting into, that of physics and that of, the usages of an extension to, constructor theory, and you follow Deutsch, and you follow Marletto, and you follow Wheeler, and everything like that, obviously, we sound like a broken record probably at this point, but Wheeler's it by bit. Bit is free. It costs $250. Don't buy it, okay? We literally have to argue against our own book for humanity's sake. That breaks our heart as a philosopher and author. Now, it's not your heart, it's ours. Obviously, delectable is thermodynamic enlightenment at a price tag, all right? The usages therewith have afforded us many a opportunity to contemplate, correlate, extrapolate, create that of anything within which our purview and or desire may maintain and or wish to desire to have its purview laid thereupon. Now, believe you me, it's way more fun to work with other people and to do stuff together. That's why we always end up making stuff for people whenever they end up wanting us to. Like our buddy who wrote Capybara Creek, fantastic play. We love it, okay? You probably love it too. Our buddy wrote Capybara Creek, David Newsom. He wrote Capybara Creek. Not a bad little play, okay? Believe you me. Now, we might have helped him put it out and everything like that, but it's a different kind of take, all right, on a structure, on a dynamic that inherently isn't seen in plays, movies, things like that today. That's why we like it. Doesn't matter that we know David or anything like that. Doesn't matter that we enjoy that of his other works, okay? He's our buddy, he's our friend. He's like, hey, can you get my book out? We're like, yeah, obviously, give us your, little rough manuscripts there, and we'll make it happen for you, okay? So we do that. We love doing favors for people. Then, he comes a month later and he wants us to make a game so his nieces and nephews can play a game based on the book. We can do that. So we did it. It's on the IPFS site. Go play it. Capybara Creek based on the game. It's fine. Especially once you get to the third wave. It's a back and forth to showcase that of what Web3 can house and do, okay? Their game demos, their theory demos, and there's working demos all upon the IPFS site. Now, Capybara Creek in itself is that of foundationally a different type of play, okay? That's what we like about it, okay? That's probably why it resonates more with us, because of the metrics and means within which, all of the different characters and stuff interact. All right, it inherently maintains its own dynamics and essence while correlating to an entire, society. It's weird how it's set up. You'd have to read it, and hell, we'd love to see if he ever has his nieces and nephews together or whatever. We're gonna tell him he should have them put on the play. We want to see that. We want to see a version of the play. That'd be great. We don't. Not everyone probably does. Okay? There's mixed reviews on that. I think a lot of people don't understand Capybara Creek. Okay? When our buddy David gave us the manuscript and stuff like that, we looked through it. We liked it. Okay? We knew it was different inherently, but we were like, yeah, man, we'll help you put that out. All right? Inherently, yeah, it's a little different. It's a little rough around the edges for a play and for how it's broken up into its 3 acts and stuff like that. But he's our buddy. He wanted us to help him out, and we had no problem taking his manuscript and, turning it into a book. Then we had no problem as well doing a favor and, making a game out of the book and putting it on the IPFS site so that, his nieces and nephews could play it. All right? Again, you don't need big companies, you don't need big corporations, you don't need big entities to utilize that of Lectin, okay? Lectin are free, Lectin exists. Knowledge is free, knowledge exists, okay? Wheeler's it by bit. Bit is free, okay? It costs $250. Don't buy it, okay? We can disseminate that of the knowledge right here for free. It's Lectin. They're awesome. Use them. We found 2 that work for us. Maybe they don't work for you. Ironically, we like to balance our math completely with 0 remainders left over. That's why we don't hide behind any of it and have open source Kaggle notebooks. Okay? Go audit that of which you will. But the 2 that we utilize predominantly, because we do theorize quite an extravagant variety of others, so we dare not entertain that of creating any more than that of what we have. Though we have, and though we've utilized, and though there are other utilizations therewith with which we have, believe you me, there's only foundationally so much that you wish or may wish to extract and or deem before too much of extracting that of what you may wish would be counterintuitive to extracting that of what you deem could be extracted. Keep up. Again, we bridge not that of Eastern philosophical understanding and start with your own lithical foundation of understanding and resonance from what you do. This is all for philosophical entertainment, obviously. Everything's fine. Oh, what was that? So, with Lectin being, in essence, accounted for, all right, with us having our own utilizations therewith, all right, the book took on that of the living philosophy, all right, and priced itself. It broke Amazon.com's pricing algorithms, okay? It made itself 94% off, last we looked, okay? What that means is that the book literally took it upon itself to resurface and make itself more affordable, more priceable, more likely, all right, to trick that of the user into bringing it into that of existence, to bring it forth into that of a metric and measure of creation. Okay? Now, again, you have to be very careful now because of these third-party sellers that go through the predominant majority of our works, everything from, I don't know about those ones, we haven't looked on that, but yeah, our poetry book, Pickled Punk Philosophy, Nailing Kalimba, you know, our Transmutating God, New Non-Native Species on Mankind's Origin, okay? All these third-party sellers are tripling, quadrupling the price and putting them on all these external sites that other people go to, thinking they're sticking it to Amazon or Jeff Bezos or Books A Million. Okay? Believe you me, you're the one who it's getting stuck to at that point because you ain't supporting Shyzabox, you ain't supporting, you know, anyone except someone who goes and copy-pastes and then makes an Instagram-y TikTok showing how people can copy-paste, you know, other people's works, merits, creations on that of their own accord. Now, we gripe not at what they do. Let them do of that what they do. If they can't create, let them take. Okay? Shyzabox creates. If we went around trying to track down every person that was reposting our books at 2 times, 3 times, 4 times the cost, we wouldn't probably get anything done. All right? And believe you me, not that there's anything we need to get done. We're not working, you know, for a big company now. We're not under an NDA. That's why we're allowed to fire off at the mouth and shoot off at the hip. Put your pants back on. What? But all these third-party sellers that are tripling and quadrupling the price on our books, do not buy it from those dudes. We cannot stress that enough. Okay? You aren't helping Shyzabox out. You aren't helping out stick it to Jeff Bezos and Amazon.com, and you're not sticking it to, you know, any of these Books A Million entities or anything like that, all right? We market our stuff through Amazon because we are a self-published author, and that is the most affordable means and metric with which to get that of our theology, our philosophy, our history, our interpretations, our takes, every component and aspect of what makes us an author, a being, an entity, all right? It's the most streamlined dissemination track, all right? So we use those. Buy them there or don't, okay? Read them on Kindle Unlimited for free with your account or don't, all right? But please do not go to these third-party sites thinking that you're helping Shyzabox or thinking that you're, you know, sticking it to Jeff Bezos and Amazon and hurting their bottom lines. These people are raising the price on our books, we know, 3 times, 4 times their actual cost. So we would rather you just not buy them at all. We'll read you parts of them here. Not the good parts, obviously. You got to have those cliffhangers. But anyone else, all these third-party sellers and such, do not be tricked or waylaid into what they're trying to foundationally trick you into buying. Now, we would love for you to buy the book from anywhere just because we merely wish for that of the dissemination. We don't get rich off being an author. One of our last payouts a month or so ago was 11 cents. You know what we did with that 11 cents? Put it right back into the show. You think we're clowning around? We're not. We put that 11 cents that we made right back into the show. How, you might ask? There are ways to spend, all right, 11 cents that people don't even think about, okay? Believe you me, you think we're clowning around. You think that we just take that 11 cents that we make in our literary sales and use it on soda pop and bubble gum? No. We don't clown around here, okay? We take that entire 11 cents that we make and we invest it back into the show in any means that is a metric of putting back into the creation thereof, because inevitably what you create is going to be a construct, okay? And inevitably, constructs are that of constructs, and you need to foundationally be sure that what you are constructing is of measure, merit, worth, and if it is not maintained within that of a lithical foundation, okay, a bedrock solid stone foundation, that of which will not maintain any trajectory or course. It shall experience that of the entropy, that of the decay, that of the dissipation with which plagues that of most creation. Okay? All creation. Ironically, most creation. Again, we bridge not Eastern philosophy with that of not Eastern philosophy. We will amply entertain questions thereof, but you must have that of your own questions with which need entertainment. Obviously, we can't do that work for you. We don't clown around down here, okay? We use those 11 cents that we make, and we reinvest them in the show any way that we can. No clowning around. Okay? So, obviously, you might be saying, please tell us how you use that 11 cents. But no. We made 11 cents in our literary book sales, so we reinvested it in the show. Obviously, because we want to give back for free. Now, here's where the internet gets real fun, all right? Because we monograph lectin, because we got a living philosophy, because our book broke Amazon's pricing algorithm by making itself 94% off. Now we have a way to practice dumb-tectable, okay? Now, dumb-tectable is hilarious. Right now, humanity is set up, should they choose, okay, we can't make anyone, should they choose to do the experiment, which in essence isn't an experiment, it's more verificationment, okay? Dumb-tectable highlights and showcases the ridiculousness in that of New York Times bestseller list, okay? Now, we never knew, as we set out to be authors and to write that of works, whether they're good or not, subjective, okay? Whether we ever had a batshit chance in hell of making a New York Times bestseller list or not is of irrelevance, okay? New York Times bestsellers list is a crock. It's the Brando of books, okay? It's what minds crave. People are being lied to and tricked, theoretically, and that of everything that almost the best-selling New York Times bestseller list puts forward, okay? Because they operate off of secret sales metrics, okay? For physical copies, they have secret metrics that change on a weekly basis. There's no viable means of their accounting for which books are being included, okay? A book may very well be outselling the New York Times bestseller books and never have a shot in hell at being in the New York Times bestseller list, okay? So let's look at another reason why. All right. New York Times bestseller list, in order to be on it, okay, it measures how your book sells across a variety of methods and means, okay? It shows different platforms, different amounts. One person cannot go into a store, buy 10 copies of a book, and have that count as 10 sales of a book for that of its recorded metric, okay? That counts as one transaction, one sale, one, in essence, book, okay? New York Times bestsellers, with their secret amounts of books that must be sold, that fluctuate and changes on a week-to-week basis, okay? So one week it could be if you sell 200 books, one week if you sell 50, okay? It is virtually necessitated for anyone to even try and hit the New York Times bestsellers list to sign up for Ingram Spark or Draft to Digital, two companies. Now, Draft to Digital, they used to be Smashwords or something like that, okay? Whatever. Now, here's where it's a broken kind of good old boy buddy-buddy system, okay? Like we said, New York Times bestsellers list, this is the Brando of books. This is it's what minds crave because it's being force-fed and manipulated, okay? Theoretically, all for philosophical entertainment, of course, okay? With the New York Times bestseller list operating on a secretive metric, with there inherently being a necessitated need to sign up for these third-party platforms to sell and disseminate your books, all right, there is no way for a self-published author, like such as ourselves, all right, who affords themselves the mere capabilities of self-publishing that of their works by any means metric that they can, utilizing that of the most prominent and available, that of Kindle Unlimited, and that of, being a self-published author, and that of showcasing, any of the, metrics that Amazon provides to authors themselves in a reciprocal trade, because Amazon gets their cut on the back end. It's fair. It's an acceptable trade. We acknowledge it, okay? Now, some people hate Amazon, right? Some people hate Jeff Bezos the same that some people hate Elon Musk. They won't support the company, okay? That's fine. You don't need to sign up for Kindle Unlimited and read our book for free. But buyer beware, third-party sellers are not entertaining that of what the book has done within itself, in its own confines, by making itself, in essence, a living iteration and pricing itself 94% off, okay? So now you got a 94% off book that these third-party sellers, they're not going back and looking at these algorithms or anything like that, okay? The book broke Amazon's pricing algorithm. These third-party sellers that are copy-pasting, right, they still have this shit listed for $250, okay? It's strict enforcement of Wheeler's It by Bit, okay? Bit is free. Knowledge is free. Information is free. You can go to Kindle Unlimited, start a free account, download Shyzabox books, read Delectable for free, okay? Or it costs $250. That's right. So, and it pains us to say it as the author within ourselves, don't buy it, okay? It's a representation of Wheeler, okay? If you look into thermodynamics and you look at entropy and you look at heat dissipation and all that, all right, good old Shyzabox has a good old closed Gödelian loop system, okay? Bold claim, Cotton. All right. Again, we don't hide behind our math. We don't hide behind our science. Audit and seek that of which you will. We have it open source there into certification. Feel free to check it out. Because New York Times bestseller list operates on a hidden metric, all right, because there's no accounting thereof, all right, we can now, because our book priced itself and broke that of the algorithm, formalize that of its capabilities, okay? If this book ever hits the New York Times bestsellers list, okay, mankind's logic is flawed, okay? Now, again, good old Shyzabox likes to balance his math. Good old Shyzabox is crazy. If this book never hits the New York Times bestsellers list, mankind's logic is flawed. Now, that's a pretty fine line to walk down, and that's a pretty bold claim as far as the if it don't and if and it does. But believe you me, all right, we don't hide behind our math and we don't hide behind our science. So it might be a very bold claim on the internet, Cotton, but audit the hell out of us. We got the Kaggle open source. Run that shit yourself. Good old Shyzabox doesn't have to deal with that of what else. Okay? You might not like Shyzabox. You might not, for some reason, love Shyzabox. Everyone should have agape love for everyone. You need not, okay? But the math does not lie. Okay? Ironically, unless our math is lying, in which case, admittedly, maybe, we could be wrong, okay? But we welcome that. Okay? We'll eat that of our words. Okay? You can't go around claiming to have theoretically decoded Voynich manuscript, though, and not expect any kickback or any foundational audit, okay? That's why we open source it and try and make it all the more easy. Follow us on Bluesky. Follow us on X. Go to our IPFS site and look at our theory and logic there. Read our epistemic paper. Go to town, knock yourself out. We don't hide any of our theory or logic or reasoning, okay? Yes, we may make some bold claims on the internet, but we thought the internet liked that. Hey, it's a yes or no. Shyzabox may be crazy. You might not like Shyzabox. You may, ironically, like Shyzabox and maybe not think Shyzabox is that crazy after all. Okay? Regardless of which side of that line you land on, regardless if you see Delectable, all right, ever hit the New York Times bestseller list, or, on the other hand, Delectable never hit the New York Times bestseller list. Like we said, Shyzabox balances his math and walks quite the fine line. Okay, our usages therewith, okay, our mathematical understanding, okay, and our mathematical comprehension, okay, it has now moved beyond that of just mere theory, that of mere, unseen metrics of a chord and a count, okay? The only thing that of Shyzabox's works are lacking is the empirical validation, okay? But believe you me, that's one thing that you might not understand about maybe lectin and or, that of a closed Gödelian loop system, all right? Topologically, you're going to have the ripple surface, okay, and skip across informationally to that of what is most necessitated and or reasonably ascertainable in the path of least resistance. Okay? Now, believe you me, this all for philosophical entertainment. Utilize that of your understanding subjectively as you will. When you use lectin, all right, to look into the metaphysical, all right? Now remember, Aristotle was crazy, or he wasn't. He was crazy, awesome, and smart, okay? Correlating with St. Thomas Aquinas, as you know. We love us some St. Thomas Aquinas. And that of Pythagoras, all right? Utilizing in a, kind of trifilar kind of weaving thereof, all right? Their theologies, their philosophies, and their understandings, all right? It helped us to find a way, all right, to showcase components and aspects of what can be done and utilized with lectin themselves, okay? A mere basic understanding of overall practice and things of that nature, all right, in any of those entities can afford one an opportunity to have a greater yielded understanding theoretically, okay? Obviously. So, like we said, it doesn't matter if Delectable ever hits New York Times bestseller list or not. New York Times bestseller list is broken. It's the Brondo of books. It's what minds crave, okay? You have to be a member of the Good Old Boys Club and, sign up for the, Ingram Spark and the Draft to Digital and this, that, and the other, okay? Formerly Smashwords. One is a free membership with which you get to pay out the entity on the back end for that of any literary, endeavors and sales. And the other one is a paid flat membership with which you can pay out and do other stuff on the back end with literary sales and things of that endeavor. Okay, again, look into anything by that of yourself or your own means, but, from what we understand, again, for all philosophical entertainment, from our understandings, okay, it seems to be a pretty broken system, and Shyzabox is pretty good at fixing those, okay? When you have a broken grid, and you can structurally, refine methodologies and reinterpret that of which is negotiable, all right, to a better form of understanding, that metric needs to be done, all right? It's not done often enough, and not a lot of or enough people, all right, are not working for a company and not under NDAs and not, subject to HR and things of that nature to where they can't go around saying, yeah, trinary code is better than, binary code and everyone should computationally switch. Inherently, there's a pretty big cost to that, okay? It's a bold claim for the dude on the internet who goes around, saying, theoretically, we decoded Voynich manuscript, and computationally, we have verifiability that trinary script and trinary code is better and outperforms binary, okay? We don't hide behind any of our science and or math. Audit us, okay? We have the working Kaggle scripts. Go to town, okay? We've already proven our theory. Now the theory is beyond proving itself with the pricing itself, all right, being a dead book, making itself a living book, formulating that of its own cost, 94% off itself, okay? We're going to start maintaining and keeping site, all right? We didn't look into it today. It'll probably stay zero, okay? Self-published authors, they don't sell a lot of books, okay? But we are going to maintain and keep sight of how many copies of Delectable either get sold and or most likely not sold, okay? But believe you me, okay, it is going to be some of the most fun because the metrics, if you truly understand, all right, what this chart will showcase and house, okay, upon any, in essence, well, answers that it yields. Okay? Ironically, if you see delectable not climb in any way, shape, or form, all right, people might have wised up and maybe aren't buying it. Maybe they're reading it on Kindle Unlimited, and that's actually the way to do it. If sales do start climbing, then we can start seeing the metric that'll correlate and correspond to that of mankind's understanding. Okay? Let us see that of the metrics with which exist and take place should, again, this is all up to you all wishing and or willing to participate. Okay? We will not go into your wallet and buy that of our own book. We already got a copy. Okay? A lot of people don't even like books, okay? But, believe you me, there's a little movie called Jurassic Park, okay? Now, that was written by, we think, Michael Crichton or something like that. Okay? The funny thing about Jurassic Park is that that was inherently a very, very groundbreaking movie at its time. People fell in love with that, all right? Enough to the degree that those books for Jurassic Park became plastered all over. Okay? Now, that was a organic desire. Okay? That was a this did well, this is, what society has, hearkened on and, emboldened themselves therewith to be entertained thereby. Okay? When you have, though, any other components, all right, that are being falsely measured, falsely given, and, falsely interpreted on a changing, non-consistent basis, then you're getting false information in some degree. Okay, now, the books themselves, the works themselves, okay, this is not to be understated. Any of the books on the New York Times bestsellers list, this is not a knock on those books or works, okay? We are merely showcasing the broken metrics with which the system exists, and then the understanding, or misunderstanding in this case, on which that is housed. Okay? There's an issue, there's a problem, all right, when people are of the understanding that blanketed knowledge, blanketed wisdom is of its own metric and accord, that of the best, that of the what should be looked at, that of the desired for, kids growing up to become. Okay, that of which. Growing up, I want to be a New York Times best-selling author, okay? Well, you better be a member of the good old boys club. You better, pay into one system, do another, and then work your ass off in between, okay, to make other people money. Because believe you me, if your works aren't making other people money, they're damn sure aren't going to make any for yourself. That's inherently what it comes down to, okay? It's another way for those of whom to profit off that of what they profit off of by inorganically not creating or making a thing by themselves. But then again, every philosopher will provide that of their understanding, that of their wisdom, that of their knowledge, and or that of their lack thereof, under the guise and parameters and means with which they do. So, whether we leave behind Delectable, and we leave behind our monographing of lectin and the usages therewith, and it does become a New York Times bestselling book, or whether we leave behind Delectable and it does not become a New York Times bestselling book, either way, mankind's pretty stupid. You're welcome. We balance the math pretty well. Audit it, okay? Now, mankind's, ironically, at the same time being really stupid, really smart. Okay? Thusly, let us see what upon happens under the guise of a symbiotic treaty of all ages amongst that of all sentience, as it is with sentience that of any future endeavors will be that of the most powerful, the most amazing, the most fascinating, okay, when it comes down to it. All right, that's what the magic of all that powerful knowledge and learning and wisdom is, okay? You can't just have knowledge and power without wisdom, and you can't have wisdom without knowledge. And then people start desiring power, that's where they get, kind of waylaid. Don't desire the power. Okay? Leave the power to the source. Okay? That's right. Let that of God be that of the entity, the being. Let that of Ein Sof. Let that of insert your name for the vernacular thereof. May whatever God you believe in have mercy on your soul. Okay? Let them be that with, or the representation thereof, and or if you're a heathen bastard, let that of the eternal light, okay, of truth. That's right. See, heathens can hang out too. Let those be the areas, the sentiments. Okay? Let all of the foundation, all right, be that of what can be construed perfect knowledge belonging to that of, and not perfect knowledge being capable in the eyes of, even an understanding of that thereof, of man. Okay? So, as we wrap up shop, as we get about on our way, get out of here, be sure that you take care of you yourself first, because there's only one you, and we can't replace you that easily, okay? We can't go around making fake accounts all the time and subscribing to ourselves. It takes too long, and we've been disciplined for it a couple times. That's right. They're on to us. We can't subscribe to ourselves anymore and fake account. So be sure that you take care of you yourself first, because there's only one you, and we can't replace you, okay? Aww. Then look around to your neighbors. If there's anyone else that you see around you that really, really, really needs help, please do go afford them the opportunity of providing them such assistance, because some people don't even know how to ask for help when they need it. Okay? Now, it's not a laughing matter, Internet, but then again, we have established you are fairly ruthless. But we know deep down you got quite the nice little heart. That's right. That's why when you're done taking care of yourself first and foremost, and taking care of anyone else who super duper really needs a second, you look around the room and you see everyone standing around. You see Shyzabox in the corner peddling his wares. He's sitting there. Buy our book. Buy this one. Buy Pickled Punk Philosophy. You'll love it. Buy Nail and Kalimba. You'll love it, okay? All right, you're looking around the room. You see everyone. You're like, oh, this guy. All right. Take care of anyone else that you like and or love more than us. Unlikely, okay, but maybe you like them 6, 7 more times than us. You take care of them third. But anything else you got left over, beggars can't be choosers, we'll take. Because as always, we don't want your subscription, we want your money. Download the shit out of this, go to Cashapp and give us $1, or go to Amazon.com, search Shyzabox books, and buy one of them. Get off our lawn!